All right, hey everybody. Welcome to our virtual Read to Achieve reading rally presented by Ross. Give a round of applause to Ross, who's always been a continued partner of our Read to Achieve. My name is Franco Finn, your Warriors hype man for the last 20 seasons. It's such an honor and pleasure to be with all of you and to also work with Ross for so many years because we believe in the power of reading and how important it is. So thanks everyone for joining us again. And I'm going to introduce our participants. Let's bring them up. Let's bring up Michelle. Turn on your camera, Michelle, so we can see you.
Hi, everybody.
And there we go. All right. Hi, Michelle. Great to see you. And then I'm going to introduce one of our favorite Warriors right now. And he's doing such an amazing job on the court and, of course, off the court, too, with our reading rally here. Give it up for Gary Payton II.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right. So we got Michelle. GP2 is in the house. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's get this thing going. First, I have some Q&A questions for you guys, okay? Let's get this going right here with a little bit of Q&A to get to know and hopefully get some answers here. And we've got a lot of folks tuned in. So let's ask Michelle first. Michelle, tell us, what is dyslexia, first off?
Sure. Dyslexia is a common learning disability. Up to 1 in 5 people show signs of dyslexia. And very simply, reading is tricky. Our brains have to connect letters to sounds. And people with dyslexia have trouble matching the letters that they see with the sound that those letters make. And this can lead to trouble with reading, spelling, and writing. But having dyslexia does not mean that a person is not intelligent. It just means that they learn differently. And they're often outside of the box thinkers, and they're very creative. And there are actually many famous people and leaders in our communities who have dyslexia. And there are teaching strategies that can help students with dyslexia improve their reading skills. But there is a literacy crisis, which means that there are many students who can't read well. Isn't that sad? And it's not fair. It's not fair because every student deserves and has the right to learn to read. But the good news, Franco, is that there are ways to help students who struggle with reading. There's a science. There's a science to it, to teaching kids to read. And we just need to make sure that those correct strategies are being used for our kids.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Yeah, no, thank you so much for answering that, Michelle. And really, we're learning about this as well. I know a lot of us are learning this for the first time, but thank you. Really appreciate that. I got a question for Gary now. How did you learn that you had dyslexia? And how old were you, Gary?
When I learned I had dyslexia, my mom actually identified it, and she seen that I was, tongue twisting words and sounds and whatnot. And she actually looked into it some more, and she pretty much diagnosed me with dyslexia. So I was around about 9 or 10. I was just having trouble reading. Putting words is different words with different sounds. So she identified it, and I got help immediately.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing that and being upfront with us on that. And this question is for Michelle. This is from Margot, who has a question. And Margot W says, I didn't find out I had dyslexia until the 11th grade. And so I spent many of my early school years feeling like I was unmotivated and stupid, while others saw me as lazy. Now, what can we do in California so that other kids don't have to go through what I had to go through? This is from Margot.
Yeah, well, first, Margot, that's heartbreaking to hear. And no kid, no student should ever have to feel that way. Kids should not have to fall behind before they get help. But here in California, we have an opportunity to help kids before they fall behind. And we can do this by screening for risk of dyslexia in kindergarten through 2nd grade. And the screening is simple. It doesn't take a lot of time. And it's a way to help teachers to find out which students are struggling and need a little extra help with their reading skills. Right now, there's a bill, Senate Bill 237, and that would make sure that all students in California are screened for risk of dyslexia. So Margot, to answer your question, screening kids for dyslexia is absolutely necessary in making sure that kids get the right type of help at the right time so that they can reach their dreams. And thanks for that question. I know that's hard probably for you to talk about.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for answering Margot's question. This next question is for Gary. Can you share with us, Gary, like what was hard for you in school?
Yeah, growing up, it was just difficult, reading in front of classes and reading in front of crowds and my classmates and whatnot. And like I said earlier, just tongue twisting words, and I was afraid to, read in public, and didn't know how to ask for help, and I was just afraid and embarrassed that I didn't know how to read and wasn't at the level of my other classmates. So it was a little hard until we identified it and we got help.
Thanks for sharing that. And another follow-up question for you, Gary, is, we know that you can't have success in life without reading. Reading is like the core and super important that you do in every job. Even as a professional athlete, you need to be able to read plays and handbooks and everything. I mean, we all do in our everyday jobs. Can you talk about to the students the importance of reading to you in your professional life? How has it helped you achieve your goals? And do you have any maybe tools or tricks that have helped you along the way, and especially overcome some of these challenges? I know a lot of our students would love to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way, to overcome it and to work on it is just repetition and read books. Anything that interests you, I encourage you to pick it up and just read. That's the best way to overcome this fear. Just reading and just get repetition so you understand those sounds and you can put those sounds with the letters and make everything make sense to you. Like Michelle said, we learn in different ways. So once you figure out that way that you learn, stick with it and just get as many repetitions as you can. And
that's just like anything in life too, practice, repetition, ingrain it in your head. A professional athlete like yourselves, I mean, in everything in life, you need to repeat and just keep doing the best you can and keep trying and don't ever give up, kids.
Do not give up. Don't ever give up.
There's going to be tough times.
There's always going to be tough times.
You're living proof of it.
You're going to get knocked down and come back.
Oh, that's very, very true. And thank you so much for sharing that. We do have a couple questions from the audience, but I have one last question for both of you, and you can answer this. What other advice can you give kids who are struggling due to dyslexia? I know you were talking about just keep repeating, keep trying, keep studying, keep doing your best. Are there any other things that maybe, Michelle or you, Gary, can share with these students on struggles and how to cope with things?
Michelle, go ahead and give me,
Sure, I'd love to jump in. First thing, keep reading. Books are powerful. They changed my life and they can change yours. You can read by sight, by ear, through audiobooks. And if you find reading difficult, you can ask an adult for help. And it doesn't matter how you read, but just keep reading. And then one more thing, don't give up on your dreams. I believe that each and every one of you has a potential to do great things. And sometimes getting there isn't easy, but I promise you that it's worth it.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Me growing up, I was afraid to ask for help until I realized there's no shame, in asking for help, especially what we're dealing with. So it's just another way that we have to learn how to, use and learn how to get better. So I ask for help still to this day. So with words and spelling. So you guys don't be shy, don't be afraid. And it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Gary, I have a question from Megan in our Q&A and asked, were you teased as a kid and how did you react to that? And if so, what was your way of coping with it? That's a great question. Thank you, Megan.
Megan, yes. I was teased about it in class as a young age. I just wasn't at the reading level, as some other classmates. And at this time, I didn't know why. This was before I was identified with it, and I didn't know how to cope with it. So, but now, you just get through it. there's different ways. A lot of kids learn a different way, and just so happen you learn a different way. So, just be strong, continue, stay good vibe, good energy. And like I said, just ask for help and everything's going to be okay.
Fantastic. Well, I'll switch gears a little bit. How about any particular favorite books? I think it was Shakira or somebody on the Q&A who asked, do you have any favorite books that you really enjoyed that maybe also helped you kind of overcome things as well? And this is open to both of you if you want to share.
I have actually a favorite book that my mother bought me for a present. It's called One Last Day. And it's really heart touching. It's about a kid that has one last day, on the planet, and you just go around and do everything and make up, want to apologize or correct things with other people, and it's just really a heartfelt book that my mom gave to me, and that's probably one of my favorite books.
That's great. I have a lot of favorite books, but I think one of the most powerful was the autobiography of Malcolm X. That was it just really shows you the transformative power of, being able to read and the power that books, unlock all of these amazing places and help us learn about other people. So that's one of my favorites. And then my second is The Master and Margarita, which everybody's tired of me talking about. So, but it's a really great book. So anyway, just pick up a book. You'll get something from all books.
True, very true, very true.
Yes, you can learn anything and anything. Your imagination can go wherever you want. That's the beauty of books. And just keep reading. As you talked about, keep reading, because it's going to keep helping you in every step of the way. I got a couple more questions, and then we're going to move on to the next thing here. Let's switch gears to maybe your career, Gary. Someone asked, what is the hardest part about playing in the NBA for you? The most challenging thing for you?
The most challenging thing about playing in the NBA, it's just coming to work every day and, just being a professional, continue to be on time and, just be nice to everybody. Well, that's not the hard part, but, coming in and getting our work in every day and just managing life with basketball, the off-court stuff with the on-court stuff, and still got to come out there and perform at the highest level. So, it's a tax to manage both, but it's worth it and it's fun and I enjoy it so much.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think we'll have one more question here and then we're going to move on and hopefully we'll have some raffle prizes. We're going to have a book here in a second. This is a great question from Amy. It's hard when you're young and you're dyslexic and, people make fun of you. There's all those things. But how can friends and other folks support you better? How can others who may not have dyslexia or just in general just support you? What are some positive things that maybe any of you can share to kind of overcome this and just to, build confidence and things like that? I mean, friends and family are huge supporters, right? And I'm sure make up a big confidence. Gary, you shared that your mom was pushing you, but she had patience with you and everything like that. But what other advice can you offer these young students?
Just like I said, don't get discouraged. Somebody's teasing on you, picking on you. Pick up a book, go home, read. Read with your family, read with your friends. Encourage. You might start a book club. You never know, with your friends. And you guys sit there and you guys read different books, all different books, and learn and just and see how powerful books are. But don't get discouraged. Like I said, if you need help spelling out a word or sounding out a word, just ask, because your family and your friends are going to be there and support you and help you overcome, what you're going through.
Michelle, close it out. Is there anything that you can share?
I would just say, be kind to one another. We all need to be kind to each other. We all have things that are going on in our lives or what have you, and just be good to one another. And if you're around somebody who's making you feel bad, stay away from that type of energy. Just stay around positive people that lift you up and build you up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, you two, for answering questions and being upfront and being candid with our students. Let's transition over to our novel now. This is Dr. Dyslexia Dude. with an exclamation. I love that. And this is by Dr. Shawn and Inshirah Robinson and illustrated by Brandon Hadnot. So I know, Michelle, you're going to be reading the first 11 pages. Then Gary will kind of read the middle there up to page 25. And then Michelle, you'll close it out to the end. So Michelle, take it away.
All right, here we go. All right, everyone.
Here we go.
So here we go. This story starts out about this dude I know very well. I am one of the only people that knows the original story about Shawn Robinson, Dr. Dyslexia Dude. The story starts out way before I even knew him. His story has been retold backwards and forwards and side to side, inside out, and even bottom to top. Sad thing is, that's how Shawn would see things on the written page, backwards. Backwards, like with the letters B and D. Now here's my version of the story. Everybody thought everything was okay with Shawn until he got to school. This dude was more excited about socializing than learning. Hey, Shawn, wait up. Want to go? Wait, this is your class? Actually, nah. I'm down the hall, man. Come on. Before arriving into his seventh grade special education classroom, Shawn was misbehaving in the hallway with his friend, despite his teacher telling him on repeated occasions to keep quiet and stop fooling around. Days later, school hallways. Oof. Excuse me. Ah, look who it is. Shawn Anthony Robinson. Seems to me you've lost your way to my class again. Uh-oh. Walking into class was not only terrifying, but class also increased Shawn's immature behavior. Shawn would intentionally speak loudly to avoid reading. It stinks in here. Boo! Who needs class anyway? One day, when he settled into class, the teacher informed everyone that they would be reading aloud from the history book. You're late. And assigned each student, a passage. Slam. All right, class, listen up. I will be calling on the first 5 of you to read passages from the history book. Joey, Ashley, Shannon, Brittany, and yes, gulp. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Shawn.
They're all reading so fast. It's almost my turn. Oh no. Please just let the class end before my turn is up. As the other students began reading, the clock started running in his head. Shawn was hoping and praying that the period would just end before his turn arrived. Shawn. Hey, Shawn, you're next. When is that bell going to ring? The first 3 students had completed reading, and Shawn's blood pressure started to continue to rise. As his turn was getting closer, all he thought about was his escape. He wanted to be saved. As his turn approaches, Shawn could not understand what he was beginning to read and how the passages in the book were linked. While he was waiting his turn, Shawn practiced reading and rereading the passage to make sure he didn't forget. He did not sound stupid. Shawn, continue to read. Continue reading. Shawn, continue reading. You can't. Shawn was being attacked from both anxiety and dyslexia. Shawn then blurted out some inappropriate cuss words out of fear. I don't want to read this. Leave me alone. Let me get out of here. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I'm not dumb. Shawn, go to the office. Shawn had saved himself by getting removed from class. Principal's office. However, he was in trouble, and his mom was not happy. But he also didn't help himself out. Fast forward, Shawn's frustration continued. In high school, he felt hopeless and was in constant trouble. He was angry and became a regular in the administration office. Alternative school. He was sent to alternative school because of his behavior. No adult was teaching him how to read. Despite his academic obstacles, he became a peer mentor with the Special Olympic program. He started experiencing success, but as a high school senior, his reading scores reflected that of his reading scores reflected that of an elementary school student. He was still angry and at still the bottom of his class. The story of Shawn learning to read is when he met Dr. Robert T. Nash.
Dr. Nash inspired Shawn to become a scholar. He got his undergraduate degree, master's degree. There's a picture of Dr. Robert T. Nash and Shawn Robinson. Dr. Shawn Anthony Robinson, PhD. With this positive attitude, he is paving the way. By seeing himself as a superhero, Shawn conquers his battles with dyslexia and inspires others to do the same. Making people and parents recognize the problem of dyslexia in kids, especially in African American males, so that they can get kids diagnosed early and get them the help that they need. Let's stop labeling kids as bad kids instead of seeing their struggle and frustration with reading. By the way, with all the stuff going on in his story, I forgot to introduce myself to you. My name is Jeremiah, and I don't just call him Dr. Shawn Anthony Robinson, Dyslexia Dude. I call him Dad. The end. That was fun. Awesome.
Very fun, very fun. Awesome.
Great job, guys. And real quick reactions on both of you on this just high level here of the book. What'd you think of it? And then we have the raffle right away. Gary, what do you think?
Oh, I loved it. It shows, it's either, you're going to take it on full head, or, you're just going to sit back and let it take over, take over everything. So I like what he did. He faced it, and, there's better things, that comes after, you facing your problems.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. And Michelle, how about you?
I think it's a great book. I think it's important for kids to hear that, that it's okay to learn differently. And, I think that's just an important message.
Great message. Great book. You did a great job, both of you. Give a hand, everybody. Virtual round of applause. Michelle, Gary, great job. High five. Yes. And all of you students, give a round of applause to all the students here today for joining us.
Coming out, guys. Thank you.
And thank you,
guys.
Yes, and a shout out to Decoding Dyslexia California. Give them a round of applause. Decoding Dyslexia. Yes. Really appreciate your support.
DDCA.
And of course, Ross Stores for always supporting our Read to Achieve reading rallies. All right, that's about it, everybody. Michelle, Gary, it was a pleasure. Students, have a great holiday and a new year.
Great job, Shawn.